In this video, I'm going to do a ratings overview of the Group 1 Rupert Clarke this Saturday. I've gone through the race and done a first pass to forecast a figure for each horse, which has led to some rough assessed prices. And you'll see as we look at the main chances that there are two clear standouts, and I think a couple of chances that look well under the odds, which could see some changes to the betting markets by jump time. The first horse I want to look at here is Angel Capital. His first run for the new stable for Chris Wallace stable was a big new peak. He's run 104.9 here. Just look at his sectional, sustained speed across his final 800 metres. It takes a good engine to do that. When he didn't exactly go that slowly early, I think he's still untapped with a performance like that first up. And what it does, I think, is makes us reset what we think about his ceiling, which now off that sort of run is still unclear. The map does present a challenge for him, just looking at it here. He's almost certainly going to be well back. It's hard to see anything else. He does lack a bit of speed, but with that type of first up performance and some untapped upside potential, he obviously has very strong credentials. Next is Sepples. He was an impressive first up winner himself. He's got 1.5 kilos less than Angel Capital, and at the weights, his last start rating here, 104.8, is right on par with Angel Capital. Notably, just 3 runs ago, he ran a 105.3 rating. He travelled comfortably above standard early, and he won dominantly in fast time. And that presence of another strong rating to go with his last start is a key positive in terms of rating profile and winning chance. And again, just going back to the map with him, he is drawn wide, but look, it's not horrendous. You can see him working across. He's going to have to burn some energy, but as we saw in his form, he can travel above standard and still produce a strong overall performance. If he gets across without doing excessive work, his map advantage over Angel Capital, while he may not have the same untapped upside, I think it doesn't leave anything at all between them. And to be honest, you could have either horse on top once you went right into the race in more detail. I think they're by far the two most dominant chances, and the race falls away after that. Just take a look at another wheel. Remember, this is a handicap. He's got 59 kilos. He's giving 5.5 to Angel Capital and 7 kilos to Sepples. He's $7 in the market. You can see his ratings at the weights here. His very best is this 102.7 when he won the CF4 in the autumn. He was unlucky here in his next run in the All-Star Mile, but he wouldn't have exceeded that 102.7. And he had his chance here in the Doncaster 100.3. He was plain first up. There's no other way to put it. So he's tricky to mark. It would be incredibly optimistic to mark him at his peak of 102.7, given the weight of all this other evidence here and his first up run. But even if I do that just by clicking on that figure in TopRate, you can see it still brings him around $8.30, and that's arguably an incredibly optimistic view of him. If I put him around this second performance here, 100.3, makes him closer to $18. He is a bit more consistent than some others with a similar forecast figure, so you could perhaps give him a bit of a bonus for that. But even if I was to just arbitrarily move him here up to, say, 101.5, he's still a $12 chance. So I just can't see any objective way to think that anything close to $7 is some sort of value for him. Behind another wheel, there's a big bunch of horses you can see here on their forecast figures between, say, 98.5 and 99.7 here, which is not much more than half a length between a big number of horses. Arkansas Kid here is $8 in the market off the good win last week. But his ratings here, he looks pressed to break the 100 mark. He's creeped over it a couple of times. For me, that's a red flag, because there are numerous others in this race, even if they don't have the same level of recent form or consistency. They've already proven that on their best day, they can rate a good deal higher than that 100 level. So we know that if it's not Angel Capital or Sepples, there is going to be a horse that gets well above that 100 mark in this race. So there's no other way to view Arkansas Kid as needing a huge new peak to be in the finish of this race. Look, that's not impossible, of course, but it's not the profile of a horse that's single-figure odds in the market. Similar applies to Miss Rumbini, who I have ahead of him on the initial forecast figure. You can see with her ratings, again, she's around that 100 mark. This was a good run first up. She was caught wide there. But at least she's a little bit less exposed in terms of career start. So I think that's worth something. But again, barrier 14, she has a very difficult draw to overcome. You can see her here on the map. You can see the initial assessment of other chances down the page here. Two long shots I wanted to quickly touch on that might not have the consistency, as I mentioned before. On their very best, they can be competitive. Chilton Lane is one. He was easily beaten by Seppels here. But just look, he's 13.5 lengths off at the 800, travelling minus 15 through that section of the race. But just look at the strength in his sections here through the last 800, plus 11.7 for his last 800. That's the best he's ever gone. Just in top rate here, you can click on the race to have a look at it. He's clearly gone the best figure in the race here, you can see. Even if I sort by that column, you can see he's gone the best figure in the race. And you can also click through when doing the form to look at all runners from that meeting. And if I do that, and again, just sort by last 800, he's actually run the best last 800 of the meeting. He's also run the best last 200 of the meeting as well. He did no early work in this minus 15 early, so we're not getting carried away. But the point is, I think he's going much better than that run reads. And when you go back to look at his form here, got numerous ratings around the 100 level, and just this 102.5 just a few runs ago. You know, that rating profile is as good as plenty of others that are much shorter than him in the market. It's impossible to think he has a 104, 105 performance in him like the top two. So we're not getting carried away, but it would be no shock if he ran better than his current SP suggests. The other one I wanted to quickly point out was Feroce. He was just fair first up, but 1100's not his go. And when you look at his form, he's typically well below his best first up. And then he improved sharply second up. He has this 102 talent here in him from his Australian Guineas win. When he came into the race second up off a seemingly plain first up run. So again, you can't be too keen as such, but he's at least been to a decent level recently, where some of the others, much shorter, have not. So I think in summary, look, Angel Capital and Seppels are the dominant top two here. If both of them fail to run to their recent marks, the race obviously opens right up. But with two strong contenders, the chance of both failing is a lot less than if you've just got one standout. They're ideal Group 1 handicappers down in the weights against others that lack the credentials normally needed to win at this level with the weight they've been allocated.